After having that first miscarriage scare, I was never going to question Asmodeus's intentions or feelings ever again. Because clearly the man was telling me through his actions, I don't care if you don't even make it. I don't care if you are unalive. I don't care about that baby or you. So I was just like, you know what, no matter what happens, I'm not going to call him or text him about anything. And in the month of April and May, I was still forwarding him emails with all the documents about the baby and everything and how everything was going. And I'm pretty sure he blocked my email, like I said before. I'm pretty sure he blocked it. So I was like, you know what? There's no point in me sitting here hurting my own feelings, reaching out to someone that is not in the same place as I am emotionally about this baby. So it is what it is. I did speak to legal aid, and they told me that it was wise and it was in my best interest to keep reaching out and making everything aware to him when it came to my pregnancy and the baby, because you don't want those things to be used against you in court. I did it as much as I could, and then I quit. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, honestly, I think this will probably be the least of my concerns. I don't think a judge is going to hold me accountable for anything that he didn't know. Meanwhile, he's blocking me and rejected me and disappeared. So I was like, you know what, it's fine. I did it for the first few months, but after that I quit. There's nothing that makes you feel more shitty than being in an emergent situation, essentially between life and death, and be calling the one person that's supposed to be there, and they're showing you through their actions that they really hope you get hit by a bus, and they don't care. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just withdraw. Life goes on. I'm gonna worry about me and my children, and it is what it is. So one afternoon, I believe it was in May, my youngest son, Joshua, his behavior analyst was over for a session. And his behavior analyst had met Asmodeus. She was there for a few sessions where Asmodeus was over. She knew Asmodeus, based on association with me, but she knew him. She saw him all the time. So when I had initially dropped the bomb to her about that I was, pregnant and that this nigga done disappeared, she was flabbergasted like everybody else. She was like, what? Wait, what? She couldn't believe that man did that after everything he's been involved in, after everything. She couldn't believe it, that was the response that he had to the pregnancy. And more so, she couldn't believe that he ghosted me and blocked me. That was the red flag. So she was just like, well, do you have his address? And I was like, actually, I don't have his address. He told me he doesn't give out his address until things in a relationship become serious. Now, I could be wrong, but if you're gonna nut in people, I think that's pretty serious. Could be wrong, but that sounds serious. And if you're gonna take temporary legal custody of someone's children that aren't your children, that sounds pretty serious too. I let her know, yeah, actually I don't have the address. So she was like, have you tried reverse number search? And I was like, no, I didn't. Because I kind of was under the impression that reverse number search was a little bit of a scam. I didn't know how accurate it was. So I pull out my credit card, I type the number in online, and I find an address. And the address is in Lindenwold, which is not where he told me that he lived. He told me he lived in Marlton. But I was like, you know what, it might be one of those addresses that are like on the cusp of that particular city, and it got, considered Lindenwold. Who's to say? So when I looked up that number online, it gave me every single email address that he ever used, and it gave me every single address that he had been at in like the last, I want to say like maybe 5 to 10 years. And the address that was the only address that I was interested in was the address that said New Jersey. So when I opened it up, it actually said that a woman lived there. And it didn't really give too many details about like her age or employment or anything like that, but there was a woman at that address that he was registered at as well. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, is this why you ghosted me? And also, this address showed me condos on Google Maps. Now maybe the entire building is this address because they're all condos, and maybe reverse number search just didn't put online the door number or the unit number. So it did raise a red flag because I saw a woman listed on there with the same address as him. But now that I think about it, if that entire building was considered or classified as that one address, everybody in the building would have been up underneath on that reverse number search. So when I got the address, I saved it. I didn't really know what to do with it from there because I'm like, I'm not gonna go just show up. Like, for what? For what? I have way too much dignity than to run over there and just show up and say what and do what. I'm fat and pregnant. Now I'm good. But I did get the information. So what I did do was I took every single email address listed, and there was a woman's email address listed as well. I took every single email address listed and put out a mass email, and I CC'd everybody on it. And I was like, someone's going to find this. Eventually, someone is going to find this, and they'll respond. A few weeks passed, no response to the emails. So I was like, you know what, let me take it a step further. I did not know Asmodeus's mom's name, but I knew that he used to constantly use his last name and any username that he put online. So I was just like, you know, obviously I believe his mom and dad were married, so if they have the same last name, it would be online underneath that last name. So I went to Facebook and I put in the name of the woman that was listed on reverse number search, and she and Asmodeus had the same last name. His last name is like hyphened. He only has one of his last names on his driver's license, but he does use his other last name online for usernames. So I put the name in online of the woman with the last name on my Facebook, and a woman pops up. So I'm going through, I'm seeing her age and her birthday and what part of Jersey she's in, and then I start going through her photos. I go through all her photos, and 4 minutes later, wouldn't you believe, I found Asmodeus in the photos. And I read all the captions. This was his mother. So I was like, oh, okay. So he's registered at his mom's address, and that's the woman that was listed also underneath the reverse number search and placed at that particular address. So I was like, maybe he lives with his mom. Maybe he's lived with his mom this entire time because he's registered there. So what I did was I sent his mom a friend request. And a few weeks went by and she never declined it, but she didn't accept it either. So then I was like, okay, I gotta be more crafty. I requested all of her relatives on Facebook. I requested all of them. And then I took it a step further, and then I requested people that were mutuals of those mutuals, because I was sharing my pregnancy on social media. I wasn't hiding it at all. And I purposely kept putting #BabyFelled or BabyFelled in any of the captioning because I wanted someone online to find me.